Buenos días, señores, señorita. Bienvenido a la primo podcast de MLW, el Lucha Libre, MLW Rewind, con George Mackay and me, Uncle Bobby B.
And that's how you do it. That's how you bring out episode number 3 or 4?
3?
3? Yeah, number 3. That's right. Episode 3 of MLW AZTECA. Now, like we've talked much about this little mini series that we're on right now, this little journey into Mexico, peaks and valleys. The first one was definitely a valley. The second one was definitely a peak. This one was a mixed bag of things, I would have to say.
Kind of, yeah.
It was a mixed bag.
Mixed bag.
We'll get into a couple things, but first we do want to talk about the MLW lawsuit. Things are, I guess, progressing in a way a little bit, but there's also a lot of speculation now that potentially this may not go MLW's way.
We don't know. There's I have not listened to it yet because I quite honestly,
and we don't like plugging really this individual's podcast, but apparently there is information on this that could, if you're interested in the lawsuit, this might it's sway you, if you will.
It's not like we're breaking it here. Jim Cornette talked about it on his podcast. I don't listen to Jim Cornette's podcast, so I haven't heard anything, but I might have to go listen to this episode to see what he has to say. But I understand some pretty disparaging comments about MLW. So I don't know. And like Jim Cornette's just Jim Cornette. He's not a lawyer. So he can't really comment intelligently on an antitrust lawsuit. That being said, it might be worth checking out what he has to say. I don't know. I don't like plugging him because I just don't like him.
Listen, if you want to listen, don't. If you don't, the choice is yours. But we're saying that information is out there. And like Rob said, we're not breaking news. We don't break news here. If we wanted to, we would flash breaking news. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to edit breaking news.
We break wind.
Yeah, all the time. A lot.
That's actually it. That's all we break.
Yeah, a lot. I mean,
rules, wind, occasionally laws. But yeah.
Shh. Hello.
Can't prosecute if they don't know. You can't prosecute without a body.
Listen, in the words of a very iconic line from the Christmas movie Four Christmases, what's that thing you helped me come up with last Saturday? Alibi. Yes.
Okay.
That's right. All right, so let's kick it off. This week, Emilio, right off the bat, Emilio Sparks is there, and he is going to get the dirt because he's always in the trenches, man. He is your reporter in the trenches. Okay, he's trying to get a word from CD. Not going to happen, though, because as he goes over to interview CD, boom, Hammerstone and Holiday walk up with a purpose. Hammerstone wants to get vengeance for being locked in that little cell room that Holiday broke him out of last week. They kind of go back and forth with a little bit, and, you know, CD's like, hit me, go ahead, hit me, hit me. And Hammer winds up. He winds up, but Holiday stops and says, no, it's a trap. It's a trap. And CD says, you've got a smart friend here.
Holiday is pretty smart.
You've got a smart friend. Well, he's dynastic. He's smart. You know, that's who he is. You've got a smart friend here. Because if you hit me, I will strip you automatically of your heavyweight championship.
Well, the background in that was that Court Bauer was afraid of Jacob Fatu as champion. So there is a contract clause or some sort of rule that if you
not a gatekeeper clause so much, but another stipulation.
If you assault the matchmaker or the owner
or the head booker in any way,
you're automatically stripped of your title. So this is a carryover from what Fatu was champion that's now working against Alexander Hammerstone.
Right. So Hammerstone says, you will get yours. And at that time, CD says, well, guess what? Your partner there, your one member of Dynasty, he's going to get his tonight. He is going to take on Pagano in a barrio brawl, which we'll get to a little bit later on the show. It's not the main event, but I guess you would say it's the undercard main event if you want to. But it kicks off right off the bat with a World Tag Team title defense. That's right, our boys 5150 putting their tag straps on the line against Aerostar, who his logo very much Top Gun.
Very Top
Rob
Gun.
Pointed that out, very Top Gun-ish. So shout out to Aerostar for a sick Logan and Dragano, who comes Dragano.
Drago or Dragano?
Sorry, Drago.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if you were mixing Pagano up with Drago.
No, I did say. I did say it was Drago. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Drago. Yeah, that's right, because I was making reference to his logo looking like Ivan Drago from Rocky IV. Didn't really have the Russian symbol, but the way they spelled Drago looked very similar to Drago's,
correct,
like I guess font, if you will,
break
from the movie. But right before the match, though, right before their opponents come out, 5150 cutting a promo, 95% Spanish. Danny Limelight just ripping it apart, tearing it down. Slice Boogie also adding his particular fire and flair. Again, these guys can do no wrong in our eyes. 5150 is so over here on the Rewind that we're not going to say a bad thing about them, because even when they're bad, they're still good, and even when they're good, they're better.
I haven't seen them do anything bad.
No, I meant bad. I meant bad as in like bad.
Yeah.
Like, Michael Jackson, like, who's bad? Like, I meant bad. I didn't mean bad as in bad. No, 5150 does do no wrong in our eyes, and these guys kill it. And this match was no exception. And we actually also want to pitch this, so we're going to use this as a promo clip 5150, we've decided what the name of this tandem move that you guys pulled off today in this match, which was, I guess you want to say the announcers called it a tandem DDT into a sweet German suplex by 5150. No, I'll post the clip here and then I'll tell you the name.
Drago, wheelbarrowed. Oh, high knee. And 5150 tandem maneuver at the DDT. And what power.
That is a sick move. And we, the MLW Rewind panel, have decided to name that move Puerto Rican Pride. That's right. They're so proud of being Puerto Rican that they're going to hit you in the face with a knee, drop your head to the mat, then flip you on your ass. And that's what happens with Puerto Rican Pride. So 5150, your MLW Rewind has come up with that move. It's Puerto Rican Pride. And I think that should be your signature move right before you hit that sweet finisher that you do, where Danny crashes on the back of the opponent and Slice drops him into a very, very sweet, what is that?
DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very great move. But 5150 easily retains their titles. But this match was great. Shout out to Aerostar and Drago. It was great. It was fast-paced. It was fun. It was the lucha matches that we've expected these last couple weeks, because the kickoff match for every week of AZTECA has been stellar, has been absolutely stellar. Now, at this point, we get a recap of what's happening for tonight. We also get a recap of Pagano turning on Hammer, which happened at week 1. We saw they won their tag match in that. What was that called again? Was that a Tijuana street fight too? First one.
I don't recall.
I can't remember what the name of that match was, but they gave it another fancy name. Every match seems to have a fancy name in Mexico, but a lot of times it's really just
like a no DQ.
No DQ. Weapons can be utilized. It's not, but they keep changing. They keep everything's fancy, and there's always a lot of street fights. In the street fights, usually nothing changes in a street fight match except the location. So it's Chicago street fight, Brooklyn street fight, New York street fight, Tijuana street fight, and we're gonna get a Tijuana street fight later on tonight. But so there's a recap of Pagano turning his back on Hammer, therefore helping Hammer to get kidnapped, captured, whatever you want to call that whole weird situation, what it was. And then we get a recap of the barrio brawl. And like I said earlier in the show, we know it's Holiday versus Pagano. Now, at this point, we get a sweet vignette, again, from Dynasty, who can do no wrong when it comes to cutting stellar promos and making you hyped for any situation the guys are walking into. So it's pretty much Richard Holiday freaking out. He's pacing back and forth like profusely, almost like he's sinking into the floor because he's shaved off so much of the floor, pacing back and forth. And he's there with Hammer, your boy Hammer, and Alicia out too. And Alicia says, relax, you've had way too much coffee today. To which Holiday replies, I haven't had enough coffee. Okay, I have not had enough coffee to prepare for a barrio brawl. And Hammer says, relax, it's just another match. I mean, sure, he may have knives, he may have guns, he may have chainsaws. To which Holiday dead stops and says, chainsaw. Right, and now I have to prepare for chainsaws. So he promptly pulls out the earbuds,
takes out the pods,
and he puts them in the rechargeable case, and he hands them to Miss Out too, and he says, hold these. And she's like, you want me to hold your pods? And he goes, yeah. If he cuts my ear off with a chainsaw,
yeah, it cuts my ear off. Where's the pod
gonna go? And at that point, CD's henchman, soldier, whatever you want to call him, bodyguard, personal entourage, the masked luchadors that have followed CD around like bodyguards, he comes inside and tells Hammer, and Hammer says, oh, we're ready for the barrio brawl. I guess it's scheduled. The brawl is scheduled. To which he leaves. Right before he leaves, Hammer finally comes through with him, and he gives him something that he think will give him the edge in this match. That's right. From the best pharmacy in Mexico, he hands Richard Holiday shark testosterone. That's what he said in the cut. He said this is from the best pharmacy in Mexico.
Yeah, it's like a test booster, and
it's shark testosterone.
Richard's like, this won't take effect for another month.
I need something now.
But like the funny part of that was like Richard is clearly aware of the effects of a test booster.
There you go.
This won't kick in for a month. I need something else. That was the funny undertone there that made it great.
And in between these matches, we also get a all, I guess, interpromotional lucha match. 2 members of the Crash roster, Proximo and the, what was it, the Brass Knuckle champion?
Brass Knuckles or something Knuckles, I thought I heard.
Toto.
That would be Toto.
And it was a decent match. I mean, these guys put on a show. The fans in Mexico know these two guys very, very well because MLW is right now affiliated with Crash in Mexico. They're doing their thing with Crash in the partnership using the arena in the Tijuana. And the match was okay. Proximo winning. A little bit dirty. He had his feet up on the ropes. Pulls out the win. But I like Toto. I like the upside of Toto. I like what he brought to the table.
Yeah,
Proximo also too, a little bit older, but I think these guys did
No,
well.
he's not that old. He's Proximal's like 2 years younger than me. But I mean, Toto definitely
aged well then.
did not bless the reins in Africa on this day. He was not
Wow.
victorious.
I hope you all out there listen to 80s music or you won't get that reference.
If you don't know Africa,
okay. What about Carl Whoop, the Canadian who remade that song?
Forget that guy.
Okay, we're forgetting Carl.
Toto was first of all, Toto as a band is just dope, not just Africa. They got some bangers.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's besides.
That's another podcast for another time. We're not getting to the Toto catalog.
The synth solo on Rosanna is primo. Anyways, so following that, we've now got this
update on Davey Richards.
Yeah.
And the assault and the stealing of the Opera Cup last week. MLW officials are investigating. They will come to figure out who did this and how. And I'm assuming whoever did it, there's going to be some kind of punishment.
There'll be repercussions.
For sure. There'll be repercussions. But we also get breaking news that in Charlotte, and I guess it's not breaking news if you've already watched it, because we are the Rewind. We don't break news and just read articles off of websites. No, we just tell you the things as they went on the website because we're the Rewind. Charlotte, we're going to see Hammer, your boy Hammer, defending his title against Davey Richards, which will be a banger of a match. That'll be a great match. That'll actually be, I want to say, Hammer's first true test in a real wrestling match. It won't be power. It'll be stamina, chain wrestling. I think Davey will kick it a little old school with Hammer. And we're finally going to get to see how Hammer can go up against a true wrestler, in my honest opinion.
I agree. Davey's going to go to work on the limbs. He's going to use a lot of submissions and holds, and Hammer's going to have to rely on his power.
And if you don't know how a Davey Richards match go, just watch one of the matches we thought was one of the best matches of last year, which was Davey Richards versus TJP. Hands down, phenomenal match. And if you didn't watch it, go back and watch it. It's on
almost as good as TJP's match with Josh Alexander. But you know,
yeah, well,
that was a fire match.
That Iron Man match was legendary. That'll go down in the record books as probably one of the best Iron Man matches of the decade, let alone the foreseeable future, in my honest opinion. But we're also big Josh Alexander fans, and we appreciate. Correct. And we also, I've never boned about it. I appreciate TJP. He's one of my favorite cruiserweights of all time.
TJP's fantastic, dude.
He's amazing, fantastic. So now we get. We also got a Von Erichs promo.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. 5150 Conan. We got a message for you. Your boys been talking a lot of smack. Okay, talking a lot of smack. And guess what? When the Iron Claw is around their lips, they won't be talking because we'll be crushing jaws. And at that point, Marshall picks up a stick and throws it and turns around. But I love this part. He sold it so well. Turns around and goes, I had nothing to throw, and I'm not going to do it on my brother because I love my brother. But you get the idea. It was honestly, when the Von Erichs, I find when the Von Erichs are without their dad, I find more of their personality comes out.
Yeah,
I feel like when they're with their dad, they got to kick it old school. They got to kick it old school. I feel like when their dad's not on the camera, they get to have a little bit more freedom in the way they tell their stories and their promos. Would you not agree?
Yeah.
I'm not insulting their dad in any way.
No.
I'm just saying that I feel like when their dad is on camera, they try to just be super uber professional. They don't get to have that fun side.
Yeah, and I mean, quite honestly, I wasn't too crazy about the last few promos I've seen from the Von Erichs, where they're just kind of cutting them at home. They seemed,
well, this one was also cut at home.
Yeah, I know, but they just seemed like a little too off the cuff, and kind of like they didn't rehearse or plan it. They just kind of like went with it. And like, I don't mean to be insulting. I'm just saying that's how I perceived it.
This one was a lot more free.
This one was better, and I liked a little bit of the humor. Like, look at this log, and he just like yeets the log, and like, you know, I would have crushed it, but my brother's here.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, I have nothing to crush. I could just have it. You get the idea.
I like, and like, frankly, I didn't really need, like, I don't need a lot of build up. I don't like really need a reason to watch this Von Erich in 5150 match because the titles are already on the line. I'm already watching because I want to see 5150. So it was fine as far as I was concerned.
Absolutely. Now, if you don't know, Blood and Thunder takes place actually tomorrow in Dallas live. It will not be televised, but it will be pre-taped. So obviously, you know, if you don't want to know the results, stay off the internet for the next couple of days because there will be spoilers aplenty. And there'll also be a lot of breaking news podcasts that will turn around and sell those spoilers as they're breaking the news. But the person who actually tweeted the tweet is the one that broke the news. I just want to throw that out there. I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm not firing shots. I'm just stating the fact. If you tweet the original tweet, you are the person that broke the news, not the podcast who says breaking news and then uses your tweet but doesn't give you credit. Just going to throw that out.
All right. Moving right along.
We're going to move right along. And also, we also got Jacob Fatu for the first time in 2 months breaks his silence, talking about family, talking about his history, talking about his start in the business when he got busted for a 211, which we had to research and Google. A 211 is a robbery. He went to jail. And when he was in jail, he saw his cousins, or as he referred to them as his brothers,
So
the Usos and Tamina Snuka come out, face Tyson Kidd, Harry Smith, and Natalya. When they were the Hart Foundation, when they came back as the newly reformed Hart Foundation in WWE for their first run. And when he got out of jail, he pretty much said his wife told him that the kids need you. You got to stop going to jail. And they moved all to LA, and his cousin hit him up, and he went to Rikishi's wrestling school. And he said he wasn't really into the business. He didn't want to get into business because he saw what the business did to his family, the good, the bad, the highs, the lows, but also the successes. And pretty much this is kind of a reinvention of Jacob Fatu's character in MLW, shying away completely from the Contra stuff. We already saw the fallout from months ago. So we're going to see, babyface Fatu, and let's see how this works out. Regardless of the fact, love him or hate him, Jacob Fatu is a true athletic phenom. There's only few like him in a generation, and the things that this man can do. Oh, what was also great about this vignette is the whole time he's doing it, he's smoking on Newports, and he had a little Mickey Hennessy right beside him. And I loved it. I loved the way they filmed it. It was just, filmed on a loading dock of a warehouse somewhere, I guess, around where he lives. Yeah. But it was nice. It was just hearing the history and actually hearing it from him. It's kind of cool when you don't have to play the character Jacob Fatu, and you could just be the person.
Yeah, and I like these vignettes they're doing. We saw
they did it with Nduka.
With EJ and Nduka. It gives you a little more, especially you're building somebody up as a phase, and especially a Fatu who pretty much was just like hail Contra and like I'm gonna kick the shit out of you, and that more or less he was just like a big badass. And now you're giving him a little more personality, making him a little more relatable and likable. Like, oh, he's a regular guy like me that went through some bad shit when he was younger and then grew up and got his shit together, and like now he's more relatable as opposed to the Jacob Fatu hail Contra version. Right? He's
almost like a host that we know who went rock bottom and clawed his way back up and has now been bringing conversations to the world. I'm not sure who that person may be.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about myself.
Oh,
I've had the rock bottom,
you got rock bottomed?
Not rock bottom, not by the Rock.
Oh,
wow. I've been rock bottom like grade 6 by my friends.
Really?
Yeah, did you not play backyard wrestling in school?
Well, nobody was rock bottoming me. I was going over, motherfucker.
Whatever. I always played Triple H. I pedigreed a few people. I liked that. All right. Anyways, back to the barrio brawl. Now we're
barrio brawl.
It's upon us. So Richard Holiday is in the venue from last week's episode. The ring is gone though. Just the rafters are there, and up top is Cesar Durant saying it's time for the barrio brawl. And Richard says, "Well, yeah. Where's my opponent? Where is he?" And sure enough, Pagano strolls out and throws a chair right at Richard Holiday's head. They go back and forth. They do a couple cool spots. Richard Holiday gets over. They actually work their way up to the upper deck where CD was, and they're now fighting on the roof of this establishment, conveniently with chairs and a broom placed outside. Not sure why. Maybe some people watch up there. About 4 or 5 chairs.
Prepped for the barrio brawl.
Yeah, they prepped for the brawl. Absolutely, they prepped for the brawl. That's true. That's true. And Richard, at one point, he was in full control of the match. He threw Pagano into a doorway, and he had him on the ropes, and he grabs a chair, but he stops. Instead of hitting Pagano, he tries to go after CD, and the special guest referee, which was conveniently one of CD's henchmen, gets a
garrote.
A garrote. Honestly, it looked like a zip tie to me.
He choked him out. And at that point, Pagano gave him a nice forearm shot to the face, knocking him out cold for the 1-2-3. And Pagano wins the barrio brawl, which was short, but we knew it was a storyline building match. This is pretty much going to be Dynasty versus AZTECA. This is going to be Dynasty versus CD versus that. It's pretty much. You look at any kind of old school storyline, it is fighting the authority. This is, put it this way, if Dynasty is Stone Cold, CD is Vince McMahon. That's the best way to put it. It's pretty much fighting your boss where you can't be fired because it's more fun to torture the person than to fire them. Okay.
Would you not agree?
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty good with that.
I concur.
And now it's time for the main event. It is the Tijuana street fight. That's right. Max Kruger versus the debuting for MLW, but has a long lineage and history in Mexico. Bestia say, which is 666. Comes out. I love the gimmick, love the style, love the look of the man. And I feel like in this match, again, short but sweet, Kruger looked winded. And what I don't like, and I said this to you when we were watching it, I feel if you're a guest in another country, that you should kind of conform to their style a little bit and let their style kind of come through in the way you tell your stories. I feel though that Bestia say was pretty much not forced, but pretty much conformed to the American way of storytelling, because he never really got a chance to do any of the stuff that I think he would have been able to do. I feel like he got to do sparkles of it, or sprinkles, if you will, but not got to really be him. And I say that because Max Kruger won the match. Not convincingly. There were a couple spots. There was a cool cheese grater spot where he was kind of grinding it against Kruger's chest. Not really, but kind of. And there was also a point where he tried to get Kruger up on a muscle buster, but the way Kruger was positioned, his feet kept hitting the top turnbuckle. Therefore, Bestia really couldn't get him up.
I don't know if that was planned like that. Like,
I'm not sure.
Planned that he was going to try.
It did look awkward.
Or they just, like, after a couple seconds of not being able to get him out from the ropes, they just fucking like called something else.
Yeah, I feel like it was an on the fly, like an audible. They called an audible at that point.
Yeah, but like he got some of his shit in. He got like the top rope Frankensteiner, and
that was pretty cool.
He got a few things, but
that's why I said I did say sprinkles or sparkles, if you will, but I didn't feel like they conformed. Really, I felt like MLW, I was excited about them going to Mexico because I thought they would incorporate a little bit more of that Mexican storytelling in their matches. But I felt these last 3 episodes has been very Americanized. And it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying I wish I would have seen a little bit more of the lucha style. Like, I would have loved to see a couple matches where you see a guy like throwing a little lucha flavor out. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm just saying incorporate a little bit more. Maybe instead of them conforming to us, we embrace their style, because I think that's the best way to storytell. Share stuff. Like when Jericho went over to New Japan and had that feud Alpha with Omega, which was an amazing feud. Kenny, being very Japanese oriented and being there for a few years, he already knew how to tell stories over there.
Yeah.
Jericho went over there and he went with, like, Omega was the leader in that match in terms of storytelling.
Yeah.
Omega dictated the pace, and Jericho conformed really well to that Japanese style, which he had not been in a few years. I'm not saying that was Jericho's first time. All you marks out there, take a breath. I'm saying that he had been very North Americanized for a long time, and he went back and probably had to, like riding a bike, didn't forget, but had to relearn how to tell stories in the Japan form of wrestling. I feel like MLW could have embraced the lucha style of storytelling a little bit more in what I've seen so far.
Okay.
That's my point. Okay. So not bad, constructive. That's what we do on Rewind. We don't ever shit on MLW because we love it.
No, we don't shit on MLW. We'll be constructive with our criticism. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And I just feel like the lucha side of storytelling, which, I mean, I've watched a lot of AAA. Their storytelling is phenomenal. The way they pace themselves, the way they dictate the matches. It's not just all these crazy spots. There actually is a lot of meat and potatoes in a lucha match. If you really dissect it, they're fascinating to watch and they're amazing. And I actually researched Bestia say. Before the debut. I'm trying.
No, I'm laughing for a completely different reason. It sounded whenever you say Bestia, it sounds like you could complete that word and make another word.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So when you said I
Sounds
researched Bestia, I was just on the cusp of bursting out laughing.
All right, you know what? Let's go North American on the translation. I've researched the Beast Man 666. Okay. And some of his matches, if you check out his stuff on YouTube, his highlight reels, some of his matches are phenomenal. And I just don't think we got to see the true Bestia in this match. So I'm hoping that when MLW does come back stateside, come back North American side, hopefully Bestia comes with them and I get to see a little bit more, because I love the stories that they told very early on with Aries and RMS and how they allowed them to be very free with their storytelling. And those matches were some of the best matches we've watched. And, same thing with, I hope to see more of Aerostar. I actually hope to see a lot more of Pagano, who looks like if Raven and Vampiro got together for a one-night stand.
Big Vampiro vibes from that guy.
Well, a lot of Raven to it too. A little Raven to it too. But definitely, I mean, if Pagano ever comes on the show, I'm going to ask him who's your influence. And we already know the answer. Vampiro. For sure. 150%.
I don't know if we could speak with him because I don't actually speak Spanish. I just know how to say some stuff.
Well, that's what Google Translate is there for. You double check what you had to say before we push record anyway.
No, I just double checked what good day was, because I know there's buenos dias, buenos noches, and buenos tardes.
Okay. See. What about Buenos Aires? Oh no, wait, that's from the
that's the that's like the capital of Argentina. I know buenos noches is good night, buenos dias is good day, and I think buenos tardes is good like afternoon or evening.
All right, and now, so that's the rewind for this week. Like I said, peaks and valleys, but all in all, week 2 was dynamite so far, probably my favorite week thus far. But week 3 was definitely a #1 contender. And then you got week 1, which, like we said, did fall a little bit short, in my opinion. Should we get into the power rankings?
Oh yeah, power rankings.
Okay, let's kick it off. You do number 10.
Number 10 in the power rankings. I'm gonna give it to Emilio Sparks for getting in there into the trenches. He's your guy in the trenches, and we actually didn't know his name for a couple of episodes, so
we just called him
dude, like
reporter.
other guy with the beard, like not Alicia. That he was literally just not Alicia.
Yeah, the guy who's not Alicia. Yeah, that's right.
So Sparks, we're giving you number 10 this week, bud. Cash rules everything around you.
Good for you. You know what? Number 9 is a two-parter. I'm gonna give it to Alicia Altu and Richard Holiday's AirPods. I think the chemistry between the AirPods and Alicia was phenomenal, and I'm gonna shout out both of them as my number 9.
All right. Number 8, he didn't work this week, but he cut a fire promo, and that bit with the shirts, Calvin crying Calvin, like
oh my god, we forgot about that.
I didn't forget. I knew you forgot.
All right, let's circle back for a second. Another fire promo of the week was Alex Kane, the Boomaye Fight Club, talking about his defense from the previous week, and then also showing some new merch. He zips on jacket, and yes, it's Calvin
Crybaby Calvin.
Crybaby Calvin as a baby, and he's crying. And basically, long story short, when Calvin Tankman has to face Alex Kane for Alex Kane's openweight title, he's going to end him and get him carted out in a stroller, not a stretcher, a stroller, because babies rock strollers, and he'll be crying wah 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 as the crowd's chanting Boomaye, Boomaye. So shout out to Alex Kane. My bad for forgetting that promo. I think we got sidetracked with the okay, well, but as a co-host, you're supposed to be like, hey man, you forgot the Calvin Tankman.
I thought it would be more
Alex
fun
Kane
to wait and then bring it up and watch you go, oh my god, we forgot about that, and it did not disappoint, so it was worth it.
So okay, what was that? Was that number 8?
That
Calvin
was number
Tankman
8.
and the merch, or just the
no.
merch?
Alex Kane
and the merch.
Okay,
so it's a two-parter. Number 8 is two-parter. Number 7 goes to the Shark Testosterone. That's right. It's not going to kick in for a month, but Richard knew that. That's right.
Oh my god. All right, number 6, we're gonna give it to let's give this one a hammer. Again, didn't work, but the promos were good, the overall feel was good. He is your champion. We normally give him a number 1 ranking this week, but a lot of other people work, so I'm gonna give him this number 5.
All right. No, number 6, right?
6, sorry.
Number 6. Number 5, I'm going to give it to Toto. I actually liked what I saw so far, and I'm impressed, and I want to see a little bit more. So number 5 goes to Toto. Stop it. Number 4.
Number 3.
Number 4.
Oh, number 4.
That didn't disappoint either.
Number 2.
Number 1.
Number 2.
No, number 4. You got to give 4. Bro.
Who does number 2 work for? So number 4. Let's give this one to let's give it to Rich. Rich was great this week. Comic relief. Richard's not a street fight guy. All right,
he tried. He did.
He went in there. He tried. He took some good shots. So I give it to Rich.
Okay. All right. Number 3. I'm gonna give it to the men that faced 5150. I'm gonna give it to Aerostar and Drago. I thought they showed us a lot. Last week they showed us a lot. This week as a tag team they showed us a lot. I'm gonna give it to those guys. It's a solid number 3.
All right, and number 2, let's give it to Pagano. Give it to Pagano.
Mm-hmm.
Cut a Spanish promo after the match on Holiday. Didn't understand anything it said, but it sounded fucking badass.
Absolutely.
I think he said something like, if you come back to Mexico, I'll kick the shit out of you. I don't know, something to that effect.
Well, he said, welcome to Mexico, puto.
Yeah,
pinned him,
puta madre and all this other stuff.
It was pretty cool.
And yeah, so he's number 2 because I think it's pretty obvious who we're going to pick for number 1 this week.
Yeah, number 1 is definitely 5150. And that new move that we have christened, say it with me, 1, 2, 3, Puerto Rican Pride. That's right. That's number 1, 5150. I mean, they've been number 1 for the last couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah.
They really have. They've just been on a straight trajectory of fire. And
look, it's not ass kissing. Like 5150 is one of the hottest tag teams in pro wrestling right now.
The look, the charisma,
they're on point.
There's nothing you can't touch these two.
Like I'm not whatever you think about MLW. Like objectively, look at 5150 and look at the matches they're having and the promos they're cutting, and tell me anybody who's doing it that good right now.
I can't.
You can't. Like they're objectively on fire. So
like Conan said, they're on point like a decimal.
Yeah, and congratulations to them, new IWA tag team champions.
That's right. Congrats, gentlemen. The tag team belt collectors of 2022 so far. I absolutely love it. And honorable mention. I haven't seen him in a while, but I need Smokes back in my life, man. Bring
Yeah,
back
where's
smokes, man. I
Bring
need
back the
Smokes.
first minister of the Baptist Church.
That's right. Devil's son-in-law on Instagram. I follow him. He follows me. He's pretty dope. I love the guy. Shout out to Devil's son-in-law, man. He's the best.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and if you're not following us, you should. The Real Uncle Bobby B, Straight Talk Wrestling on Instagram.
And if you're watching this, just hit that subscribe button because we are at 443. We're 7 away from our January goal of 450, and we would love to hit that by the end of January, and then we could just build from there. We don't ask for much. In February, we want 10 more. Give us 460. March, give us 470. And then, by the summertime, we'd love to be at 500.
When we get 5150, we will get 5150 on the show.
That's right. So we only have, like
5,000 to go.
5,100.
5,000. You subscribe. You tell your friends to subscribe. They tell their friends to subscribe. 2 or 3 iterations of that. Boom, 5,000.
It's that simple, hey?
Just like that.
I've been grinding for 5 years, but he's figured out all the
buy
analytics.
some likes and subscriptions.
I'm not going to do that. Everybody I have on the channel is organic, and I'm proud of that. I'm not going to bot it, okay? I'm not going to bot the channel.
Well, I like GMO. I'll take GMO subscriptions, okay? GMO subscriptions.
That's it for this week's Rewind. Peace, love, and wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week.
Adios, muchachos.
I was going to swear, but I'm not going to do it. So peace.